Being a cat means never having to say goodbye, okay? Not my best line, but then you must admit that you've never heard a tale quite like this one either. It's likely you've never heard a tale told from a cat's point of view. Given the circumstances, you might be the only one to tell this tale when I'm gone, which appears sooner rather than later. Then again, I never thought I would ever have a story to tell. Truth of it is, I wasn't certain I would live to tell this much of the story. How I came to have everything a cat could desire only to end up in this cage is a story in its own right. I only hope that it isn't the end of the story. If I may, allow me to dispel a few misconceptions. Not that the following tale isn't enough of a fantastic tale in and of itself, but what sort of talking cat would I be if I failed to bridge the chasm between feline and human? Note that I didn't say people, because in the end, regardless of species, aren't we all people? Really? And lest you think this will turn into a diatribe on my feline brothers and sisters, I assure you this is hardly the case. You see, given everything, I find myself equally distant from cat and man, in a no-man's land, if you will. But I do believe that some perspective is in order. But do I dare speak for the voiceless? First, please do not attempt to paint all cats with the same tail. It's rather like asserting you only prefer people with pointed beards or flaring nostrils. It's all a bit silly and arbitrary, and you may think that we're aloof and not responding to you. But the fact is, cats are talking to you all of the time. We talk with our eyes and ears, mostly, with our tails and a hunch of the back, and when we slide dishes from the table when you ignore us. A few of us respond to bird whistles, mostly though we talk with our tails, tapping your leg casually to express our affection, or snapping it when bothered. I felt it necessary to impart that, if nothing else. And now, while I still have time, allow me to get on with the story. Maybe this is the end of the story. I set out to answer a question, and I ended up here. Perhaps about to answer the ultimate question, but that's not important now. And maybe there are some questions too big to ask. And yet those are the questions that beg the most scrutiny. I just needed more time. It's funny that I, Oliver the Talking Cat, would set out on a journey of self-determination, pondering predetermination only to end up with the question seemingly answered by the Animal Control Agency. Such is the fate of a stray cat. I chose this path, and now it seems I will die by that choice. Then again, oh, to be home again, languishing in the warm sun upon a windowsill, curled up on a comforter, stretching my arms and legs, belly upturned and safe. How does one ever find themselves so far from that place, whether cursed or blessed, but usually something of both? And I've read Thornton Wilder and Thomas Wolfe, and find them both lacking. To quote the good Mr. Wolfe, why had he always felt so strongly the magnetic pull of home? Why had he thought so much about it and remembered it with such blazing accuracy, if it did not matter? And if this little town, and the immortal hills around it, was not the only home he had on earth? He did not know. All that he knew was that the years flow by like water, and that one day men come home again. I would flee there at once, I said aloud, back to home, if I could, and hate every hard-earned step of it, only to luxuriate in that place once more for all eternity. I fear that I will never shadow that place again, but closing my eyes, even in this dark and hopeless place, I find enough in my heart to console myself. There, I had pleaded my case to the would-be judge, juror, and executioner at the city pound. The look on the poor woman's face changed from disbelief to astonishment, and finally to one that hinted that the poor woman might heave her lunch altogether, so taken by this revelation that she literally gagged and accidentally spit out her gum into this gas chamber, where I stood like a revolutionary, pleading for my life, as well as for the other critters stuffed inside with me. Oh, what a rabble it was. There were strays, a feral gray, a broken-hearted middle-aged tabby, abandoned by his human, and several innocent kittens, all of us facing a terrible, suffocating, ignominious end together, for no fault other than being born a cat. The refuse of the higher order. It seemed so terribly cruel and unjust, and yet this becomes our fate. It was for this reason that I decided to break my silence. But there is more, dear friends, and I beg of you to read on,